Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, a short time ago I did a race on iRacing in the BMW M2 at Virginia International Raceway, and in that race was none other than Max Verstappen. Now, I posted a video with my POV of that race, and a lot of people have been asking to see the whole race from Max Verstappen's point of view, because he started P22 and ended up finishing P2. And I hadn't watched the race back, but I have now. And there's a couple of moments in this race which are typical Max. Now, I will say from the off, I'm not the biggest Max Verstappen fan, although I am a huge fan of the Max Verstappen talent. And people will say, oh, that's just British bias. Well, of course it's British bias. I'm British. There's nothing wrong with supporting the driver that represents the country where you're from. I mean, Lance Stroll will have his Canadian fans. Maybe not. I'm a huge Lando Norris fan. I'm kind of a fan of Lewis Hamilton, although I think a lot of the stuff he says is just scripted nonsense. Let's keep pushing. And George Russell, if I was a driver in the same paddock as George Russell, there's a good chance that I'd end up giving him a clip. But I always try and root for the British drivers just because I'm British. But I'm also a huge fan of drivers that aren't British. Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, Yuki Tsunoda. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not a huge Max fan, but I'm making this video just to try and highlight his talent. Now, I'm not going to talk about the lines that he takes. It's Max Verstappen. It's going to be fast. And I'm not going to talk about your bog standard overtakes. But I was in this race that you're going to see, and I can relate to what's going on. I know how difficult it is. So I'll play the race on now so you'll see the full race from Max's POV. Then at the end, I'll talk about what I think are the key moments and what makes Max, Max. Now, I'll try and pick out a couple of moments which I think were key in this race. Now, Max being Max, really aggressive, doesn't mind putting his car right in the mix, overtakes the car on the left-hand side, then he's right on the back of these guys, making them feel uncomfortable, making them do things that they probably wouldn't normally want to do. Now, the car right in front of him here, the green and bluey silver car, this is a key move for me in this race. And I don't know how Max made the decision to do what he did so quickly. I certainly wouldn't have done. So we'll play it forward, and coming up to the tricky left-hander, the car on the inside goes defensive, is on the left-hand side of the track. So anybody watching this would think the only way around here is on the right-hand side of the circuit, taking a wide line. But Max, at the last moment here, follows this guy in, makes this guy commit to the inside. Max then very quickly opens up the steering to open up the next left for himself. I'll play it forward and I'll show you. So here, just quick jink to the right. Now, the guy's there on the left. Again, still, there's no way through for Max at this point. But Max has made this decision very, very quickly, and he knows that that guy on the inside, his line, is hugely compromised, and he's going to run wide on exit. Now, it's all right for me watching this. In hindsight, you can look at it and say, yes, he's too tight on entry, which means he's going to run wide on exit. But Max has made this decision in a couple of tenths. And then the guy runs wide. And because Max made that small adjustment and moved his car to the right, that enabled him to take a wide line and slip up the inside on exit. Now, the next move is typical Max. This is what Max does. We all know it. People will deny it till they're blue in the face. But Max is super aggressive. And at times, if you don't back out, then you're going to crash. Now, we're going to be talking about this move on this Valvoline car in front. I'll show you the move first of all. Closes up really tight, then nips up the inside here, around this fast right. And looking at it there, yeah, easy move, no problem. But I'll show you the move following the Valvoline car. It leaves the door open for Max, gives him room, and then Max opens up the steering and just drives through as if he's not there and pushes him off track. Don't get me wrong, I love that aggressive driving, but not when you're pushing people off track. Opportunistic move here, spots the gap, and he's up the inside. So that's the first key moments in this race. Now, the next key moment is following this white car. That's me in the blue car in front. But he follows this white car, and he sticks behind the white car. Now, what he's doing here is making the guy in the white car afraid to brake. Max doesn't deviate, and he forces this guy into braking a little bit later. This guy's scared to brake in case Max runs into the back of him, and he doesn't move until he brakes, then he opens up the turn, and as a result, that white car misses his braking point. Now, the next move is on me. Now, people said that I left the door open, which I did, but Max sent it up the inside, and you'll see there's contact. He understeers into the side of me and uses me to get round. Probably see it better from this angle. So he sends it up the inside. Max did take a tighter line than me through there every lap, but he pushes me a little bit wide. If I didn't slow down there, I would have been off track. But I took this line every single lap, and there was only one person that tried to make a move or made a move there, and that was Max Verstappen. You've got to expect the unexpected. And although the move was a little bit harsh and he used me as a little bit of a berm to get round, well, he overtook me. He got the move done. Now, the next move is absolutely genius. I mean, these two guys had a little bit of a coming together here. They were both moving in the braking zone, trying to outsmart each other. This guy in the green car was trying to open up the turn. Max was trying to dive up the inside. It didn't work for any of them, but they kept on going. No harm, no foul. It disappears for a second. Now, the guy in the green car goes defensive here on the tight left after this left here. And you would think that there was no way through, but Max has got other ideas. He just drives around the outside as if this guy is a rookie. And he wasn't. Absolutely brilliant move. And then it continued all the way up to P2. And from that point, he just picked up positions here and there when people went off track and ended up finishing P2. So there we go, a couple of moments of absolute genius, but a couple of moments of Max being feisty and aggressive. But do we really want our Formula One drivers to all drive round in a procession? Or do we want somebody that's just going to stick it in there? I know which one I would prefer. Like I mentioned in my video, you don't become world champion for nothing. I've had the privilege on iRacing of racing against many real-life racing drivers, and they all do things differently to us sim racers. We're all a bit too polite. I think us sim racers get a little bit offended if somebody touches your door. But in real-world motorsport, it's aggressive. If you don't do that, you're going to get nowhere. And Max carries that across from real world into the simulator. So like I said, not a huge Max fan, but a massive fan of the talent. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.